Welcome back. In the first video, we spoke about how important it is to have a good understanding of who will be listening to your presentation, that of course being the audience. So now you've been asked to give a presentation on your area of expertise, like red podzolic soils, or it could be something that you are passionate about, like orangutan conservation. So you have your pen in your hand, you know exactly what it is that you want to talk about, but find it difficult to put the words from your head onto that crisp, clean, white piece of paper. Do you know that feeling? Well, take a breath and a sigh of relief. This video, we will guide you through the process of structuring the speech. Organising speeches serves two important functions. First, organisation helps improve clarity of thought in a systematic way. And second, organisation increases the likelihood that the speech will be effective. Audiences are unlikely to understand disorganised speeches and even less likely to think that disorganised speakers are reliable or credible. Speeches are organised into three main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Now, the introduction is the place where the main claim or idea should be stated very clearly to give the audience a sense of purpose of the speech. Speakers need to orient the audience and make connections between what they know or are already interested in and the speech topic. Here are some examples. Let's say I'm going to give a presentation about staff morale. I'm going to use a quote, a fact, humour, and make it controversial. Hi everyone and welcome. Tom Peters once said, if you want to kill morale, sack people every 2 months for the next 2 years. Hi everyone and welcome. Do you have dead wood in the organisation? Let me ask you, did you hire them dead or did you kill them along the way? Hi everyone. We all know that employees who don't feel appreciated don't work as hard. Hi everyone and welcome. I think staff morale in your organisation really sucks. One of the reasons you would open in one of those 4 ways is to ensure you get your audience to go from attention to interest. It is also equally important that you establish goodwill and credibility. Many people believe that the most important part of persuasion was ethos, or the character that the speaker exhibited to the audience. The audience needs to see that the speaker is someone they can listen to attentively and sympathetically. Ethos is generated by both delivery style and content of the speech. Making eye contact with the audience and displaying confidence in voice and body are 2 important ways to establish ethos. In addition, if you express ideas that are original and intelligent, you will show intellectual character. Audiences pay attention to habits of thoughts that are interesting and worth listening to. The introduction is there for you to give a preview. Mentioning the main points to be covered in the body prepares the audience to listen for them. Repetition is an important aspect for public speaking. You see, listening is an imperfect art, and audience members nearly always tune out in parts, sometimes to think about previous parts of the speech or sometimes for other reasons. I'm not sure if you know this, but we go into La La Land 300 times a day. And I don't mind you going into La La Land, it's probably just a good idea that you come back at some stage. The preview should end with a transition, a brief phrase or a pause to signal to the audience that the speech is moving out of the introduction and into the body. I'll give an example of an introduction at the end of this video. Next, the body follows and is itself structured by a logical pattern of thinking about ideas, events, objects, and processes. Having a mode of organisation means grouping similar material together and linking the component parts together with transitions. Good transitions show the relation between parts of a speech. They display the logic of the speech. Common transition phrases include the following. And I'll put the words up on the screen so you can see how these are used in the presentation. Well, you've just heard Bill talk about staff morale. Well, in addition to that, I would like to ask you whether you can... Bill's presentation on staff morale was interesting. And beyond that, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to... Now, although Bill was talking a lot about staff morale, in contrast, teams are the essence of staff morale. However, if you think about what happens, there will be lots of staff members who just love the process of the way staff morale works. But on the other hand, you're going to find that there will be one special type of transition is called the internal summary. It's a brief restatement of the main points being completed. Try to remember this as a rule of thumb. In the body, the fewer the main points, the better. For short speeches, say under 10 minutes, speeches should not have any more than 3 main points. For longer presentations, any more than 5 main points will ensure that the audience will have trouble following and remembering the speech itself. In your presentation, your main points should be clearly stated and signposted. Transitions often serve to signpost new points, as do pauses before an important idea. Additionally, speakers might number main points, first, second, third, or finally. Always make it easy for the audience to recognize and follow key ideas. There are several common modes of organizing the information in the body of your speech. Temporal organization groups information according to when it happened or will happen. Some types of temporal patterns include chronological, that is in the sequence it occurred, and reverse chronological, from the end back to the start. Inquiry order is one special mode of temporal organisation useful in presenting some kinds of research. Here you organise the body in accord to the unfolding process of thinking and gathering ideas, taking the audience from the initial curiosity and questions to the final result. Cause and effect is a related mode of organisation showing how one event brings out another. Cause-effect, like other temporal modes, may be used for past, present or future events and processes. Cause-effect can also be reversed, so it goes from the back to the beginning. Now, compare-contrast takes 2 or more entities and draws attention to their differences and/or similarities. Sometimes speakers explain a difficult subject by comparing it with an easier, more accessible one. Trying to explain nuclear fusion with the stages of high school romance is a good example. The use of analogies often assists in audience understanding. Following a transition from the body of the speech, the conclusion follows. Now, the conclusion should be somewhat shorter than the introduction and accomplishes 2 purposes: summarizing the main ideas and give the speech a sense of closure and completion. Great conclusions might refer back to the introduction, offer an analogy or a metaphor that captures the main idea or leaves the audience with a question or some challenge of some type. Brief quotations can also make effective conclusions, just as they can make a great introduction opener. I said earlier on that I would give you an example of an introduction that transitions into the body. Here is this example. Hope you like it. Good morning, everyone. I know many of you know me as Gerald Pauschmann, the presentation coach, and that's fine. But for a moment, I want you to think of me as a dog lover and YouTuber. Now, most weekends you will find me walking up to 9 dogs along the esplanade. In fact, if you were to ask any of my friends about me, they would say that I'm obsessed with rescuing stray dogs. Now, I'm not sure that everyone in the room is as passionate in producing YouTube videos as I am, but I would like to share with you 3 lessons that I've learned about video marketing. You see, when my business partner asked me to give this presentation, he told me to emphasize the importance of getting the structure right. And I thought to myself, how am I ever going to give such a diverse group of people, and some of you who are out there are engineers, accountants, and students, the right type of information? And then it dawned on me that at one time or other, everyone has been in a situation where we have had to give a speech. So during my presentation, I would like to show you how you can solve this problem by implementing 3 critical strategies. The first being map out your goal. The second, keep the message concise and to the point. And the third is get the image right. So by the end of my presentation, look, I'm pretty confident that you will have the knowledge and skills to be able to create your very own video to market to your clients. So before I get into the mapping out your goal, can I just see a show of hands for those of you whom have already created a video for YouTube?